Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. I'm joined here with Assad from Genesis and with George from Compete Sport. We are excited to talk about and learn more about Genesis and their Kickstarter that starts like tomorrow or the next day. I don't know when we're posting this. It might be today. I don't know when we're gonna end up posting this, but sometime early December. We're gonna hop in that. So welcome, guys.
What an exciting intro, full of energy. Great job, Louie.
George, this is not the
really,
podcast. This
really
is
energizing intro. I feel hyped. I feel ready. Just a great intro, Louie. Great job, buddy.
This is an important. This is not the podcast. This is an actual important video.
I bring energy to everything I do.
I appreciate that the video I'm on is very important.
So yeah, we've already done a kind of intro into Genesis, Assad. But I think there may be some people who are excited about a new Kickstarter. Obviously, Kickstarter is all the rage right now. So I love this idea of going through and talking to creators of games and having them explain why they're passionate about their game and try to explain to us what the Kickstarter is all about. So if somebody's interested in hopping in, they can have all the facts. So what do you mean? What are you laughing at, George?
All the facts. All the news.
Listen,
right here at KitchenTableTCG.
Listen, all the facts are important. It's good to hear from creators and not just look at it on a piece of paper.
I agree.
You need to be nice. We talked about this. You're supposed to be nice to me today.
What do you want from me?
You were mean to me on the phone. Nice on the videos.
I was nice
mean
on the phone.
Yeah. Anyway, Assad, sorry for our bickering. It's like an
I apologize on behalf of Louie. This is his channel.
Going out to dinner with an old married couple. Assad,
wait, before we get into this, Assad, I have the question that's on everybody's mind.
All right.
How do you feel about The Rock?
Oh my gosh.
I saw that. That was funny. You know, my early memories of him was the Scorpion King, and that was not the best first impression. So I'm not a huge fan, but also if he does a good job in something, you gotta give him respect. Like Moana was awesome. So,
thank you.
I wouldn't know.
If someone does a good job, let's respect the good job.
All right, Assad, talk to us about Genesis. Tell us, you got this Kickstarter campaign coming out this week, but you've been a company for 3 or 4 years. You've been a successful TCG for 4 years. Yeah, you've been a successful TCG. So tell us a little bit about the last 3 to 4 years, and then we'll get into the Kickstarter and what that allows you to do as a company, and why we are, George and I are very, very excited about the Kickstarter, and we can talk a little bit about that. But for people who haven't watched the video, the 45-hour-long video give us the 3 to 4 minute kind of 4 years Genesis speech.
So Genesis started out 4 years ago. I wanted to come into the market. I wanted to make a mark on this landscape that I love so much, which is the collectible card game space. At that time, Kickstarter and collectible card games were not friends, and I had to figure out a way to fund this entire thing myself. So it was completely off of my own life savings, getting bank loans and cashing out on everything I had, and doing it in steps that were within my means. I couldn't just do a large explosion. So I remember we closed out our first year and we were excited to have 2 local game stores backing us. And then we went up to 5 and then 10. Like, it was very slow growth because we had to do what was within our means to grow the game. We had a 2019 championship, which was amazing. And that's when we started seeing people take the game very seriously and wanting to compete in it. COVID was definitely a challenge because our game relies very heavily on getting people to actually play together. But we had so many people support us, back the company, and now we are where we just finished off our 2021 championship and celebrated a really great fiscal year. And now we're going to be bringing into the Kickstarter so we can take the entire project to kind of that next level.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's awesome. And you're from Canada, so you've got a pretty I mean, it's hard to ship things to you, but you've got like a pretty I have a Canada joke, George. You obviously haven't heard that, but I make fun of shipping things to Canada all the time. I know you don't watch any of my content, but anyway, you've got a pretty good robust community up in Canada, and I really see like Kickstarter as your guys' way. And you got some stores, I know George just ran some tournaments and some events, and but we have a really great way, I think, of this Kickstarter bringing Genesis to the masses and bringing it to the rest of the world.
Well, I've told everybody, because I've been pretty down on a lot of the Kickstarters for, I think, very good reasons that have seemed to be coming to fruition, might I add. I've been pretty good about this. Somebody asked me, why are you so on board with the Genesis Kickstarter? And I was like, this is easy. They have a game.
Yeah.
Like, they have a game, and they just need a broader audience and a way to kind of reach out to the end consumer. And Kickstarter is the best way to do that.
Yeah.
And it's also like, it's not just a game, right? It's a polished game.
Yeah.
It's a game that you can play today. It plays well. It's fun. People enjoy it. It's competitive, but not too competitive.
And it's unique.
It's got polish.
And it's unique. And, you know, I think when it was so funny, we did a bundle, for those people who don't know, we did a bundle for Kitchen Table TCG and Compete Sport. And when we talked to Assad about it, he was like, no, look, like one of the things that's super important to me is that people like actually try to play the game, because that's the biggest selling point of Genesis, is that the gameplay is so good. And so we did the bundle that you couldn't get the exclusive promo card unless you sent a picture of of you playing the game. And like I love that. Like I love that that is your focus. Now collectability is still baked in. Like I've said it many times on my channel. I love that you have so few foils. It's so frustrating, but also so much fun. Like it's so much more fun to pull that. And I really like that. And so but gameplay is the hard focus, and I think that's a pretty unique thing to Kickstarter, right? Like that gameplay is your biggest selling point. And I agree with you, George. I've been telling people, of all the Kickstarter games that come out at this half of this year, right, that, you know, we're having this huge push. I think Genesis is the one that's safest to be around in 4 or 5 years, because it's already been around for 3 to 4 years. You know,
this
for 4
might be
years.
the only one I back this half of the year. I'll be honest. Like I'm looking at one other one, but Genesis is the only one that. It'll be the only one I put 4 figures into. I can assure you of that. It will, and it might be the only one I back, period, for the second half of this year.
Yeah. Like one thing when I look at all the other games that have been successful over the years, like the 4 big ones that are worth aspiring towards: Magic in their heydays, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Flesh and Blood. 3 of those 4s really focused on making gameplay a key part of their aspect. Now Pokemon, it really leaned on their IP a lot, but gameplay built the foundation of a lot of these games, and that's my road to success. Make gameplay the most important part. Collectability, it comes from people's love for the game, and then there's a whole other empty void that we'll maybe not touch on right now.
Like the market seems to be dominated by this kind of fake FOMO, and you've kind of pushed back against that and said, if you only want my box because of tendies, you should probably look elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully
100%.
the boxes give us tendies, but that should not be your
I mean, George is
primary...
here, so there's got to be some tendies, everyone.
If I'm here, there's some tendies somewhere. I promise you that much.
And I love, we'll talk about the Kickstarter campaign. First off, I know it's obviously now very apparent. George and I are all in on this. And I think we will, we are going to ask some tough questions, and we will change this over to people who aren't all in to get some of the answers. But as we look at the Kickstarter, and I'll say this again later, what I love about the way, Assad, that you've built your Kickstarter is that it is built for collectability, but also for scalability, right? Where it's not just like the first 50 people make all the money. It's a way for the whole game to grow, and it's a way for you to grow, but also you've got a really cool exclusive Kickstarter model that we haven't really seen elsewhere, and I think it's really cool, and it allows you to do some stuff, and we'll talk about that later, but it allows you to do things as a company, but it also allows collectors or people who want to keep boxes sealed and just invest to have an opportunity in that as well. And so there's a lot of cool stuff. So let me ask the biggest question that I get. I've been talking to a lot of people about your Kickstarter. I've been hyping it up in my Discord server for 2 or 3 weeks now. George, why are you shaking your head at me?
I'm with you, boss. I'm
looking
for where this is going. God,
the biggest.
You are sensitive.
I am.
Who's more crying today? You or your baby? Good Lord.
Listen, it's been a long day.
Todd's got his coffee. I got my caffeine. Maybe
I've got a baby. I've got a baby and energy drink. Anyway,
that's why you're cranky. You're drinking V8.
This is the biggest question I get asked, Assad. You've been a company for 4 years. Why Kickstarter now? Like, what is it that what is it that makes you say, okay, now it's time to do a Kickstarter?
Yeah, it's actually something I struggle with a lot because for the longest time I was not a big fan of Kickstarter, and I was also not a big fan of getting investors into the company as a whole. But the thing that changed here is now I'm no longer asking people to give us money for us to go experiment and make mistakes on their dollar. I have learned a lot. I've grown as an individual. We have grown as a company. And now when I'm looking for capital and revenue to grow the company, I know what for. I know where the gaps are and where we can improve. It's everything up to this point, I like to say, is a proof of concept. It was a dry run for the company, for the game, and for community building. And now we're at a point where I want to take that to the next real level. And to do that, we need investment. And Kickstarter is a great platform to get that crowdfunded investment.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I tell people too. The other side of things that I see, and one of the reasons I actually reached out to you and I said, hey man, I think you should do a Kickstarter, is it's advertisement. I really think it's one of the best ways to advertise a game in 2021. And I think you bring and I've said this already today, but you bring a unique thing to the space, which is like tried and true gameplay and tried and true excitement. And so like when I tell people, it's like, man, like this is the way that companies are marketing their games. And Assad, right now, the biggest thing that you need is marketing. And so it just makes sense. It's just an easy thing that makes a lot of sense.
Like something that comes to me is a part of the reason we haven't invested a lot into marketing before is because when you put yourself out there and you start scaling, you want to make sure you have the bandwidth and the capacity to scale and follow through with what you're doing. And now I think we can do that. But in the past 3 years ago, when I had just started and just brought out beta or alpha, no way I could have scaled and kept all those communities thriving and making sure that organized play was understood, or that what our margins looked like, and all those things to make a company itself successful. I didn't know those things at that time. So if I had invested a lot into marketing at the beginning, the entire thing would have crumbled over. But now we built a foundation that we can build up and actually scale appropriately. And that's why I think now's the right time for us to be part of this.
I love it. It's just so different than what we're seeing from the space. And like, I love that. Like, I love that it's different.
You know, God, like of all the games out there, I don't think you can play any of them right now other than Genesis. Is that true? Maybe, I think one of them has a print and play thing that's like a mini version of the game, but like Genesis is the only, again, like, you know, this is why I'm all in, right? Genesis has a game. It's ready. Yeah. It's ready for Kickstarter. It's not, you know, you're not going to take these people's money, then go back and like, okay, I have a bunch of money. How do I make a game?
Yeah.
It's done. The hard part's done. Now we've got to get you some cabbage and you got to go make some boxes. So
I like cabbage.
I like one kind of cabbage. So let me tell you what drew me to Genesis. And it's actually something that brought me to Fab in the beginning that I don't know, you know, now it's controversial, but when I was first told about it, it was not controversial. When somebody first told me about Fab, they were like, one of the big selling points for the game will be that a deck can be very inexpensive. The commons are the best cards in the game, and you can build a deck for, you know, $50, $60. And this is right when Magic was releasing their collector booster boxes, and you were like, you know, and I was like, God, like, you know, this, you know, the CCG market's getting pricey.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's amazing. I'm all in. Now, like, I'll leave it up to your lovely viewers, Louie, because I know you're cranky today, to figure out if Fab has met that goal of making a very affordable game or not. But I know Assad has.
Yeah.
Can you tell us why that matters to you and how you make sure that your decks remain affordable, and you can use the ones from your big championship as an example if you want?
Well, looking at the championship deck, if you look at the top four, except for one particular card which hasn't seen reprint since beta, but will see reprint in Origins, which is Tsunami, the rest of the cards,
is that public knowledge yet? Was that a huge spoiler for the Genesis community?
So I've been telling people that Tsunami's getting reprint because when we released
Louie's just looking for an exclusive, Assad. I'll be honest with you. That was
exclusive information. Just give it to me, buddy. Just say
that
it's
was
exclusive.
just a trap.
I'll make sure a few Easter eggs are dropped in our conversations here. So when we released JLR second edition, a lot of people asked about Tsunami because that's a super meta relevant card. And at that time, we were on track to try to bring Origins out later this year. But everything changed with the paper delays, the demand for JLR second edition just skyrocketing, and we pushed Origins out. And I'm happy we did, because in that time we found a new artist who did an amazing piece for Tsunami. So outside of that one card, which is expensive on the secondary market, but I think the rest of the deck came out to about $40. And all the other
expensive. What do you mean? Let me go. What does expensive to Assad mean? Because I suspect it will not be what people who are in other CCGs think is expensive.
So the entire deck is $140.
There we go.
And Tsunami was $100 of that.
Yeah,
and it was
that is expensive, Assad. That's a good point.
I'm sorry, it's a different perspective. So for me, like, if I see if the most expensive playable component of the set is $6, then we're doing it right. From my perspective, the design perspective, we have done it right. If all the play pieces of the game are between $1/4 to $6. Once it starts breaking that, then we know that there's something wrong. We didn't print enough inventory, or something's up on the market. But then you get the collector pieces, and that's a whole other thing. The foils, the epic rares. There's other pieces you can go get that have a little bit more value. But for me, it's a game. It shouldn't be super expensive to play your favorite game. If I want to go play basketball, I just need to buy a basketball and find a public net, right? Like, it's not an expensive game to get into, and I don't think TCG should be. If you want to then go get a complete foil deck, or you want to do something really special, get a really cool promo that's out of print, yes, that's where you're investing.
The foils are crazy. The Discord, like, you're talking like foil commons are like $60 in the Discord server for J2, like the second print of J2, like the foil, like rares and it's crazy, and it makes it like, I love it. Like, I love I love that side of it, because people who play TCGs only play TCGs don't care at all about the financial value. But people who collect and play love it, and people who invest want to know things that are expensive. And like, you just recently had an auction where the Genesis Alpha box sold for $5,001. That poor guy who only bet 5,000. Who only bets 5,000? You always add a couple dollars on the end of your bet. Anyway, he got outbid, and that's incredible. And we're seeing beta boxes that are hopping upwards of $300-400. Welcome to Lara. The first kind of print run is seeing like $300. So there is like this collectible side already to the market.
Yes.
Yet the price of the singles is still super healthy and accessible, which is great.
The thing that I love when I look at those prices, like, there's two sides of it, right? When we talk about playable components for meta play right now, that is very accessible, except for a few cards which didn't see reprint yet and will hopefully in Origins. Well, I know they will in Origins. So except for those pieces, everything is very accessible for competitive play. But the reason why the older stuff is increasing in value isn't because of something we did to the market. It's because the market generally loves the product, and they want to get those pieces to show, I love Genesis. I want to have a piece from when the game had just started. And it's only recently that I even put up my own collection of some of this old alpha and beta stuff. Yeah, like, people are holding on to it because there is emotional value to those older products, not just financial value. And that's the part that really resonates with me. And that's where I think collectors really should be.
Yeah. Awesome. And I love the way you're doing it. And but I do want to say that people, you have not missed out, because Assad has baked in the old collectible value into the Kickstarter, which is Dude, this is like, are we ready to hop in? Can we hop into the Kickstarter? I'm so ready to hop into the Kickstarter. Can we skip down to the the part that I like the most? Is that okay? Can we skip
anything for you, Louie?
Okay, so Assad, I'm gonna give a round. You can do your spiel in a second, but the thing that I love the most is that the Kickstarter boxes will have a box topper, and in the box topper, this is like at the bottom of the Kickstarter. You gotta bring this up to the top, Assad. In the box topper, you're gonna have 3 cards. One of them is a Kickstarter exclusive card that everybody will get. It's an alternate art promo card. But then the second one is an epic rare from Origins. And Assad, correct me if I'm wrong. The epic rares are versions of commons and rare cards that are included regularly in the booster boxes. But these are like super rare versions of that card that are still playable, but are also added collectability, correct?
So it's just the rares. It is an extended art version of the rare. We're getting rid of the black borders, making them look super pretty. They are collector pieces, but also, tournament legal, completely playable.
Yeah. So this is like for Flesh and Blood fans, this is like a cold foil. It has a regular print version of the card, but this is the the special super rare version of it. It's you've got the cheap versions if you're looking to build the deck, but this one is collectors and full art and cool. And then this is what I love about it. The third card in the pack, this is so cool, is a second random foil epic rare. Oh, back up. The epic rare, this is the first time those are in foil.
Yes, and as of right now, they're the only time we're planning to do them in foil.
That's amazing. All right, and that's in the Kickstarter pack. All right, and then the third card is a second random foil epic rare, a signed card from Origins, a sample card from Origins, or a pre-alpha card. So you've taken from your own collection, right? The creator's collection, and inserted these into the Kickstarter packs, the exclusive Kickstarter packs in the box. Dude, that is so, like, I love the history of that, and the, like, for you, like the heart that,
right?
Yeah, the heart that must give to like give your own collection into this. Like, this to me, like when I saw that, I was like, dude, Assad is all in on this. Like this is his life. Like, he's all in. I love it.
I have a philosophy, which is, if I am not using the piece, if it's not going up on my shelf or it's not in my decks or something like that, then there's no reason for me to hold on to it when someone else can have it, and it holds so much more value to them. So that's why I did things like putting the printing plate into the auction, or why I'm doing these like pre-alpha cards and putting them into the collection, because this is from before we printed alpha, but after we got our trademark registered. So these cards have the trademark on the back of the card, and then it was originally planned, the first set, instead of being called alpha, it was going to be J Lara. So it's a little blurry there, but it has the JAE symbol on it, saying that the first set was going to be J Lara, but then we changed it to alpha. So this is at that small transition window when that had happened.
And there's like nothing. There's like you printed like 4 boxes of alpha.
yeah.
I mean,
it's slightly more than that.
This was
let me be very clear here. It is like slightly more than that.
The original 2017 alpha print run, we had 30 starter kits, 12 booster packs, not booster boxes, booster packs, and then these pre-alpha cards.
Okay, so I was actually overestimating when I said 4 boxes. Is what you're trying to tell me nicely.
Well, then there were alpha boxes.
Alpha starter kits, alpha booster boxes didn't come out until 2018.
Gotcha.
So of the 2017 print run, there's very, very little.
That's cool.
And like, listen, like everybody knows I'm the tendy man. Louie is even though I now have more XP than Louie as well. So I'm actually both the tendy man and the better player, but that's okay. God, I carry this.
You don't do anything. You don't have family. Like, you don't have a kids. Like, get out of here.
His door is his kid.
Games, Louie. So, anywho, Assad, like I will tell you, like when I showed it to my store yesterday, I was at my store packing boxes because I'll never not pack boxes again. I will die on my pile of Pokemon and Fab that I'm mailing out this week. They were super hyped about it because they know that we're going to carry the game, obviously, carry the new box in store, obviously. Mm-hmm. And like, listen, like you've baked in a lot of value into the boxes, even though you don't need them to play, right? My guess is like absolutely nobody will play with that pre-alpha card, right? That pre-alpha card is meant for a collector. It's
Yep.
meant for you to enjoy as a collector.
Yes.
But it bakes in, because we'll sell the boxes at retail at my store in person, obviously, like we do for everything. And it is they were super jazzed because they can see the value that you're putting into every box.
Yeah.
Super
my thing is, on one hand, I understand that Kickstarter is a very special space for TCGs right now, and we got to put something in there that those who are willing to invest with us now, work with us right now, as we're right on the verge of exploding to something really massive. We got to give them something to say, hey, I was there. I got something really cool out of this. But at the same time, I really hope that the Kickstarter product is not so exclusive that no one ever opens those boxes. I want to see people open up those boxes, make new decks, play in their locals, and enjoy the game itself, right? So there's a weird balance that I'm trying to strike here. And at the end of the day, I can't enforce it. I can't tell people, hey, you have to open up your boxes of Origins. But I
can. If you get it at retail in my store, congratulations. I keep your wrapper.
Well, let me show you.
That's my deal with everything.
Let's get into it and talk about how you've done that. Because the way you've done this, guys, people who are listening right now, you obviously I'm all in, and I'm like, but this is why I'm all in. This is why I'm excited about the way Assad has built this. Like, you've done this in an amazing way. So your boxes, right? The packs inside are not Kickstarter exclusive, right? Like the regular 24, there's 24 packs, right?
Yeah.
So those 24 packs, those are just like the regular first edition Origins packs, right? They're just regular.
So there's nothing inherently special about those cards. We are putting a Kickstarter K on them. It was something that we were going back and forth on debating on this, but at the end of the day, there was too many pros in the column of actually doing it. So we are doing that.
That's different. That's even better.
I'm in.
That's even better.
Double my plague, Assad. I'll do
double the push. That's even better.
That's hype.
That's
great.
So
let me try to understand this. Every card will have the K on it in the box.
Oh, okay. I thought it was not going to be that way. That's awesome.
I didn't think so either.
I originally wasn't going to do that, but now the more we talk about it, the more we look at it, it makes more sense to do it this way. Okay. But what we're not going to do is cap the amount of boxes anyone can buy.
And that is perfect. It drives me crazy.
Yes.
When people want to play a game and they're like, oh no, it's sold out in 10 seconds. I guess I'll have to wait 9 months to see if I can eventually learn how to play the game or not.
Yeah.
I love the Kickstarter exclusive cards. I super love that you're like, if you want to play it, I got your back and we can do this together.
Because it goes back to the reason that Kickstarter exists. The reason that Kickstarter exists is not to make me free tendies in 20 seconds that nobody else can have access to. It's to support games and, creative projects that should be successful and that have put heart and soul behind it. And that's why I'm all in. Okay, cool. So that's different, but still even better.
That's a heck of an exclusive there,
bonus.
Dr. Louie.
This is exclusively on Kitchen Table TCG.
Wow, that's a heck of an exclusive there, Dr. Louie.
That's cool. Awesome. All right.
Has it been announced anywhere else, Assad?
Pardon?
It's on the page, so obviously I just didn't read good enough.
There's a little thing where we say what's in the boxes. Yeah. And we show the booster box has the Kickstarter logo on it, and then the individual cards has a highlighted.
I must have just skimmed over that while I was reading the Kickstarter page while Screaming Baby was screaming in my ears.
It's the alpha thing that really excited you, right? The pre-alpha.
I read straight to that. I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. It's genius.
Don't need to look at the rest of this.
Yeah. All right, let's start at the top. Let's start at the top of the Kickstarter, and you got the. Sorry, George. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, go ahead, boss.
No, honey, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I want to go over the plague levels with him, but that's all.
Yeah. No, that's part of it. Yeah, let's go there. So you've got so Origins is the new set. We'll talk about that. We'll let you kind of spew the new set at the end. One of the things I noticed first off is that your pledges only include boxes and they don't include starter sets. And I kind of pushed you back on that, but then you quickly had a reasoning for that, is that you can add on the Jalara starter sets as add-ons, which is super cool.
So you both run stores, you know this. How many starter kits are you sitting on from other games?
A lot.
A bagillion.
So starter kits are a weird paradox within the space. You need them, like new players always want them, but why aren't they not selling? Like they sit on shelves, and we even made a starter kit that had two of the 5 best cards in the entire set. They're both inside that starter kit, and still they're not selling very well at the retail level. And we put them at a very reasonable price, and it's really difficult finding that back for. So we are getting more of the J2 starter kits. We're giving them as an add-on. You can get those when you pledge. But our goal, I think, moving forward, and this isn't 100% set in stone, but I don't know if it's worth the money to make more starter kits. But what we want to create is more LGS demo boxes. And it'll be like a box that we send to the LGS, which has a bunch of demo decks and a bunch of paper mats that they can just give away for free.
That's cool.
And that way, if a new player wants to get into the game, here's a free deck, here's a free paper mat, start learning.
Yeah, and what I love about this too is like currently this is like unique to your Kickstarter too, where like currently somebody who wants to just pick up the game and try it out over the next 30 days before they back your Kickstarter can go to an LGS that's on your store locator or whatever and look on their website or whatever and pick up a starter deck and try it out. Or I think you guys play on Sunday nights. I think in the Discord server there's a tabletop simulator mod that allows you to test out the game, and like I absolutely love that. Maybe we can link some links below in the comment section of places where you can pick up the starter decks or even J2 boxes. But I love that.
We're going to definitely be encouraging people, go buy from the LGS.
Yeah.
Like if you want to get into the game, go support the LGSs. Go pick up your starter kits from them. We want to see more people, more communities being built around the LGSs. They're so important.
Yeah.
And like, listen, if you're listening to this and you're like, I really like this game, I want to back it, I want my store to carry it, go talk to your store owner and tell them, like, listen, will you back this at the retailer level for us? I promise I'll come in and buy some boxes. I promise I'll come in and teach people how to play. I'll be all in with you. Like, as a store owner, like, listen, like, that's one of the reasons that got me sold on Fab. That's got me sold on Metazoo. Heck, that's the only reason I carry Final Fantasy. Like, I would never carry Final Fantasy if it wasn't for those people saying I'll come in and buy boxes and teach players and all that fun stuff.
Right.
Like, so if you want to support Genesis in a pretty profound way, I would argue, and you want to support your LGS, go talk to them about it and be like, hey, pledge this for me, and I'll come back here, I'll buy the boxes from you, and I'll do the first couple play groups with you.
Yeah, so let's talk about the pledge levels, because you do have regular pledge levels for people who don't have an LGS and don't want to whatever. You've got or if they just want to do it themselves, you've got a 1 box pledge level. You've got that's the early bird special, and then you've got 3 boxes as an early bird, and then a regular special, and then you've got a whole case which is 6 boxes. Good. Did you change your case size? Because
yes, he
the case
did.
size for
J2
was it 18 boxes?
It was 12. It was 12.
Yeah.
No, Raise was 14, and Welcome to JLR was 18.
That's
so
awesome.
They progressively got in smaller.
Perfect.
6 is perfect.
Yeah, 6 is perfect.
Hey, when we were there with Welcome to JLR, I was driving around to each store dropping things off, so case size did not matter. Yeah.
And each one of these boxes in the pledge tiers comes with the booster box, and inside the box there's a sealed Kickstarter topper pack that will not be. There will not be a box topper in the next print run, the non-Kickstarter print run, correct?
So the retail print run will have a box topper, but it will actually be a different promo, a different like something that's more collectible on that side. So we want to separate the two. So Kickstarter is getting its own exclusive, and our box toppers will always be what we have. We've talked to the community. We figured out through testing what are the most meta relevant cards. Those are going to be the box toppers. We're not picking anything
like he
else.
Listens to our podcast or something, George.
Every Friday.
Somebody has to. You're the one. I was wondering who our viewer was. It's Assad.
This guy.
That's true. That's also Mike. Assad and Mike are the two that listen to it. Those are 2 viewers. I would like to thank you both personally.
2 viewers. That's awesome. All right, cool. And then you've got the content creator package. I love this as a content creator. This is not the one I'm backing, because I'm going to back the retailer one, because it's more expensive, and I would do both of them. I should just do both of them. Anyway, You've got the content creator package, which is awesome. It's a perfect, bundle. And what I love about this, and you're doing this for the store too, this is so cool, dude. You won me over just the way that you set up your campaign won me over. The content creator package includes 50 exclusive Origin promos with the content creators logo on it for them to give away and to sell, to do whatever they want to promote the game on their channel. That is so cool. And then you did the same thing with an LGS. Like, dude, this is like it's so cool. Like the LGS bundle, the retailer package, there's two of them, two different levels, 1,500 or $3,000. One of them is 24 boxes. You got a champion cutout, and then you've got where's the one that's part of that, right? Is that not part of it?
So there's a large retail,
yeah.
And then there's also a large retail with the promo.
Yeah.
And
so
that's
cool.
Louie and I have an idea that we got to talk about later about our promos. We are going to do something amazing in our promos.
Talk about now. Why would we not just pump it now?
Mine will be slightly better.
We're going to do our promos are going to work together, Assad. They're going to we're going to both do promos, and we'll have 50 of them, right? And my 50 and George's 50, if you put them together, it'll make the full picture.
But we're each doing the others as a caricature.
Yeah.
I'm designing the picture of Louie, and Louis is designing the picture of me with your artist.
Yeah.
So for the content creator
away from us, Assad. Don't take this away from us, Assad. I'll warn you.
We will cancel this video right now.
We will cut this off. So go ahead, Assad. What were you saying?
So for the content creator package, it was going to be a card that we chose, right? So we choose a common or uncommon, and that we think will fit their channel's theme really well, and then get the logo on it. For the store one, our big thing was we'll let you choose which card from the set. So whichever is the most meta relevant card, and get to do that. To be honest, I hadn't thought about the alternate art, but that's definitely something we can work together. And
we've thought about it.
Only us two. Only two of us. Louie, you will not be able to recognize this boy when I'm done with your artist with him. That's all I'll tell you.
We'll talk about it later, Assad.
We have some ideas.
We have put Assad in a terrible position right now.
We've talked about this a lot, Louie and I have.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, I want to do whatever it takes for you to support your community. So if this is what's going to be the thing that takes it to the next step, then I'm not opposed.
George just wants an excuse to make fun of me. That's the only thing he wants. It's an excuse to make fun of me. That's great. Anyway.
Your car's going to be all hat. It's going to be only a backwards hat.
All right. Anyway, so you got the retail, and I love this is like another thing. Like for me, that's a huge win.
While we were joking about this, I will tell you, like, this is something that like stores and content creator communities will eat up, right? It's going to be like, oh, not only am I supporting Genesis, I'm supporting this content creator, mainly George in this case, in our bundle. That is something. The thing I respect most about Genesis, two things. One is I do believe in your value-based gameplay. That's what initially drew me to Fab, and that's what initially drew me to Genesis. Mm-hmm. I also think you do one of the best jobs of creating community. Yeah. And creating micro communities, which I think are more important than just like the overall Genesis community. It's like each store has a Genesis community and you respect that individuality.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting because that's one of the things I feel that we could be doing so much better on. And it's always on the back of my mind. What could we be doing more? That's why between me and my sales lead, we call the stores regularly. We keep in touch regularly and figure out what are your needs. What can we do to support you? Because and this is actually this is a whole other tangent, but I do want to get into it a little bit, which is people have asked me, how come I don't have MSRP? How come we have MAP? What are we doing when it comes to limiting the stores? And at the end of the day, it's so hard for me to tell a store what to do because I'm not the store owner. I don't know what your challenges are, what your community is going through. So I don't want to be like, oh, if you carry my game, you have to do everything according to how I say, because you I need you more than you need me. That's what it is.
Your
store is so essential for these games to survive that I really want to be supporting you every step of the way.
And I will say, like, it's something, just the fact that you call us and ask us what you can do to help us puts you ahead of like all but maybe 2 other games, frankly, all but 1 other game. I don't hear from, I have a quarterly call with my Magic rep. I'm not sure that really counts because all I hear is I'll talk to somebody more important than me, then they never hear from them again. I don't know if that counts as communication or not. I don't think it does, to be frank. It's just wasting both of our times. But I mean, like, the fact that you call us and ask us, hey, how's it going? Yeah. How's it selling? Are people enjoying it? Any problems? What did they like? What did they not like? That puts you way ahead of, frankly, like all but I would say 1 other card game that does something similar with me, at least.
Oh, you do have, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the campaign. You do have a early access thing. The first 24 hours gets an alternate art. How do you pronounce Korean champion card? Yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah.
So like, I love that you've taken everything from all the Kickstarters and just made it like the epic best Kickstarter. You have exclusive stuff for the first 24 hours that doesn't lock out everybody else for the rest of the campaign. You've got a print run that that goes with it. Is there a max print run, or is it just whatever is ordered?
He just said there wasn't.
Yeah, we're working with our printers to make sure that we will be able to handle a larger capacity. Now because of the paper issue, we might have to do waves if it gets too large, but we will try our best
normal
to
for
make sure everything
you and everybody else in the universe.
I have backed so many Kickstarters and I've never received one on time ever in my entire life on Kickstarter.
Well, that takes some pressure off of me.
And something I want to state, and I've been upfront with you, Asad, like, the paper quality in the last set maybe was not what I would call gold medal winning, but like, you have made it clear that like you figured out the problem and you solved the problem, and the problem will not be in this set.
So can I dig into that a little bit?
Yeah, please do.
It's the
number one thing I get asked about, I'll be honest.
So what happened is standard playing card paper is 310 GSM. So I don't know what GSM stands for exactly, but it's basically the density of the paper and the thick, like how durable it is, right? And when you feel a Genesis card versus a Flesh and Blood card, Flesh and Blood cards are a little bit thicker, right? You can feel a bit of a difference. So there's 2 different card stocks, 310 and 320. We didn't know that 320 was available. Our manufacturers have always used 310 because that was the standard for trading card games for a long time. So for Origins, we made it very specific that we want the 320 GSM. It's going to be a little bit more durable. Now, I haven't felt it, so I don't know for sure what it's going to be like, but we know that it is going to be a little bit more, and have a bit more of that snap than the older cards. And then on top of that, when it came to JLAR 2nd edition, because of COVID restrictions, we couldn't be in the warehouse all the time. But now that those restrictions are being lifted, our manufacturer has told us, you're welcome to come and work out of our office every single day while we're doing manufacturing, and we are going to take advantage of that. We're going to be there double checking everything. We have specific items that we've already told them ahead of time. Hey, once these are cut, they're coming to us for QA. And we're going to check out as many of the cards as we can.
Love it.
So I know we've already scheduled for myself and for the game design lead, Alex Miller. The 2 of us, to the best of our capacity, are going to be there every single day, checking everything. It's going to be a very different experience, but I'm hoping a very useful one.
That's awesome. That's great. And when do you hope to ship these by?
So we put in a little bit of buffer space, but we put in the July 2022 on the Kickstarter. Our hope is that it will come a little bit earlier, but the thing that's been delaying us, and it's delaying us right now with the J2 reprint, which is the paper. It takes a long time to come into Canada. It's sitting at the port for 3 weeks, and then finally it's released, and then you got to get into manufacturing. But the manufacturers, they scheduled our printing for J2 reprint for late October, and now it's happening like early December. So they have to reconfigure their entire timetable to fit us in. So it's stressful. It's definitely stressful. So
yeah. But there is a target, right? The target is
July, he said.
July. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. The last thing I love about Kickstarters. This is the thing that that always just locks me into freaking Kickstarters like crazy, is stretch goals. And you've got listen, stretch goals are great.
Louie loves stretch goals.
Listen,
the two things I hear from Louie every day are NFT updates and stretch goal updates.
Now you need to put stretch goals into NFTs. That's what you need.
Assad, if you put an NFT at the end of the stretch goal, I'll be on. No, if I stretched half as much as I care about stretch goals, I'd be pretty healthy. Anyway, you've got
that was a terrible joke. That was just
like that.
It just tells that you're just like you're a new dad. You're just practicing this.
I'm a 2.5-year-old dad, Assad.
I also like that. Like your idea of health is like stretching.
That's all
it's like not working out, no cardio, no weights.
This is me stretching now. I lay down on the floor and I just go like this. And my 2-year-old daughter just like jumps on me, and I'm just like, no, this is exercise. This is it. I'm doing something. Anyway, you've got stretch goals, which are great. And it looks like at 15,000 you funded, which is going to happen between George and I.
We're in.
You've got a Kickstarter coin at 30,000. Haunted Castle gaming branded outer wrapper. That's awesome. So that's one of the things that you always hear pushback on games. So your beta boxes didn't have that, as most games in their first couple of sets don't.
Can I touch on that?
Sure.
So part of the reason I've actually had someone ask me explicitly, ask me why I made that explicit and not just part of the Kickstarter, just implied that we're going to do it. And the reason is I want people to realize that we designed this as a game first. Our priority wasn't to put these things in to increase collectability or increase investability. We put all of our resources and all of our finances to make the game itself. And that's going to be our same philosophy moving forward. However, we know that as the game grows, there's going to be a status quo that we need to start reaching. And this is why we need the support to hit that new status quo.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
First and foremost, let's make the game polished, and then we'll start adding on those additional features.
This is what Kickstarters are supposed to be about. And then every 10,000, which is going to be so much fun. Like, this is why I love Kickstarter, because I'll just refresh the page constantly. Every 10,000, you're adding a Kickstarter foil champion card, which is just so cool. And then you've got the deck box at 200,000, and at 250,000, an alt art of that Tsunami card that you that is so key to the game. Super cool. That's super awesome. I love it. And I love stretch goals, so I just wanted to talk about them. Okay. Do we want to
you totally missed the social media stretch goals that we have on there, man.
Oh yeah.
He's a great content creator, Assad. I want you to know that. He's a great content creator. I don't care what anybody tells me.
Are these for the next sets?
So yeah, the Facebook ones are, so we're going to have baked into this, everyone who backs gets an opportunity to send ideas of cards to us, and it will be a backers exclusive pitch contest, basically, where we will bring it down to the ones that make the most amount of sense for the game, and then we'll open it up to the public to vote them down to the best ones, and then get those published for a future set.
So you already have 3 additional sets planned: Invasion, Collision, and War.
Yep. So Invasion. Yeah, we have the storyline planned out. It's gonna be epic. So Invasion, Collision, War, and then the next 2 are code names, which are Chaos and Anarchy. There's your exclusive. And then
here we go.
The Facebook stretch goals are going to be, if we can hit those numbers, we're going to open it up to the public, that everyone who's who's following us on Facebook can now pitch ideas, and we'll try to slot things in for future sets for community made cards. And then we have the YouTube stretch goals, which are also quite interesting and exciting.
Oh my gosh, 10,000 alpha box break. I love it.
I have an alpha box that's sitting over there. I will, every time before I open up a pack, I will pick a person at random who's watching the live stream, and then open the pack on their behalf and send them the contents.
I love it. So all those are box breaks. That's super cool. That's awesome. I love stretch goals. I'm a big fan of them. Big fan of stretch goals. And then you got the tabletop simulator and already 8.8 on Board Game Geek. That's awesome.
Yeah. It just goes to the fact that, we're a natural game and we have a rating on Board Game Geek. We're in 80 plus stores around the world, even in
including
China.
The best store. Yes, Assad gets it. He knows.
Oh man! All right. Do you want to transition and give us the spiel on Origins? Maybe we should have done this earlier. I don't know. I don't know.
You're doing great.
I know. It is what it is.
All right. Let's. So there's two parts of Origins. So the first is Genesis itself, the original name of the game before. Did you need a second there?
No, keep going. I'm gonna go get my door real quick.
All right.
I can hear it.
He doesn't care about the gameplay anyway. I'm the only one that cares about the gameplay.
Says something different.
So the original name of the game before we changed it to Genesis Battle of Champions was called Origins. The game, it was always intended for these 5 affiliations to be coming together. There was this epic war, this epic saga that we were trying to unfold within the game. So this set being the one that's coming to Kickstarter and giving us kind of a global stage to compete on, it's about going back to those roots of when we first started designing this game. So now we're finally coming back to the origins of Genesis.
That's super cool.
So that's the reason behind the name of the set, why we're doing this on Kickstarter, why it makes the most amount of sense for this set to be the one on Kickstarter. The set itself is the thing that I've been working towards this entire time. It debuts Phage, which is the 5th affiliation. So now we'll have all 5 affiliations colors that are playable within the set. It's going to give us all the different champion color combinations that you could look for. And then all the classes I think are really well-rounded now. So fighters actually can compete on the stage and be a pretty reasonable deck strategy. Casters and summoners are getting their support. And there's also a really solid meta comparison between them. So
that's cool.
All things considered, I'm really excited about the set. It's really well balanced. So
12 new champions, 152 unique cards, and 4 new mechanics. You want to talk a little bit about the 4 new mechanics?
Yeah. So the 4 new mechanics, Embellum, which is the yellow affiliation, is Modify Stack. This is definitely a little bit more of a techie thing, but as Genesis, the game as a whole, we don't want players to be afraid of the concept of the stack. So the more we talk about it, the more we introduce it in our rules, hopefully the easier it is for people to approach it. So the idea here is this card functions normally, but if you play it at the right time in response to the right things, the card gets a boost and it does something a lot more powerful. So if it's a 3rd item on the stack or the 5th item, depending on what the ability says, it gets a boost.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And then, so on Thymo's side, we introduce this across the board, but we make it very specific. Like there's a lot more cards in Thymos that support it, and this is fatigue. So instead of when you deal damage to a champion, you deal your actual damage, but then now they have to pay an energy cost. So they're milling themselves. It's forcing your opponent to mill themselves. The cool thing here is fighters inherently have an energy reduction. So this is a mechanic that's directly attacking casters and summoners. And so this gives fighters a little bit more foothold in the competitive meta scene.
That rabbit artwork is also super cool. There's like a giant, for those of you, if you can't quite see it, there's like a giant rabbit. Looks like it's like just staring down what seems to be a human, and I love it.
We always have a joke starting since Alpha. We've always had a rabbit in the sets, and they've always been a little bit absurd.
I didn't know that.
Collector's pieces right there, everyone. Exclusive information on Kitchen Table TCG.
Louie loves NFTs, stretch goals, and exclusive information.
It's not even exclusive. I just like making fun of it.
I know.
So like in Alpha, what happened was we had the decoy rabbit, and people started loving this rabbit so much that we just kept on putting rabbits in every single set. Ray's had a rabbit that was very reminiscent of the one from Monty Python. And this one is like, let's make the biggest creature in the entire game into a rabbit.
I'm gonna go buy all the rabbit foil cards like today before this video goes
before
live.
This airs?
Before this video goes live. I don't know. I'm joking. I'm not.
This is the best insider trading ever.
It's obvious right here to everyone.
Rabbit. So yeah.
I'm not actually gonna do that. I just want you to know I'm not. George is gonna do it. George is gonna do it.
That is fair.
Where's the fingers, George? Give us the fat fingers.
That's where the camera is.
All right, sorry, I kept interrupting you.
It's all good. It's all good.
I got distracted. Ooh, a bunny. Ooh, a squirrel.
Amazing. Anybody comes on with us, Louie. I want you to know that it is absolutely amazing.
Listen, man. It's
I
we're
like
not
the
intimidating.
energy.
We're not
Yeah.
intimidating.
That's true. Nobody can look at us and be like, they're scary folk.
Oh goodness! When me and the team get together, it's just we got this one guy on our team, Chris, who's the head of the sales team, and we just make fun of him nonstop. Like it's just all that we do is just make fun of him all the time. It's so good. No, I love it. I love it. All right, so the next mechanic is warp. The idea there is giving more mobility. So you'll pick a target within the awareness, and then you just like teleport to a spot adjacent to them, giving you the opportunity to take advantage over their space. And then the last mechanic being replicate. Phage coming out. Phage is really focused on insects, diseases, mutations, things like that. So replicate is you drop this creature and you immediately get a second copy of it.
Cool.
So you always get 2 for 1. Yeah, I'm excited. They're gonna be cool.
That's super cool.
That's awesome.
I love new mechanics.
And I will tell you the crossover in my store has been Flesh and Blood players, Warhammer players, and computer game players. If you like any of those 3, I think you owe it to yourself to back the game. Go try it at your LGS. But I think those are the 3 kind of core groups that have really enjoyed what you're putting down.
Yeah.
Nice.
The movement system is incredible. If you haven't, if you're listening to this and you haven't watched the gameplay, there's I'll link a gameplay video in the comment section as well. There's a gameplay video of me and Assad teaching me how to play. Super cool. I'm trying to plan another gameplay over the next couple weeks for the middle of this campaign for you too, just to keep more people engaged in it. And then there's also that video of kind of you walking through the game. We talk about the Warhammer, kind of because you're moving on a play field. We talk about that and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things to talk about. You've got a lot of content creators already making content for the game. There's a lot of ways for you to learn about it. That's what I think makes it so unique. Like I love your Kickstarter. It's not just like some video of how to play, because there's already so much content on how to play. I know DM Armada has a fantastic how to play video. I guess that's why he was featured before me in the Kickstarter campaign. That's fine, whatever.
It goes by quality of content. I think is what Assad told me off air. I'm not sure.
KitchenTableTCG is like at the bottom. It's fine, no big deal. But
I don't blame you at all, Assad. That's how I would rank it too,
that's how I would do it too. Listen, he can pronounce things correctly and I can't. So I mean, like he's
he knew about the Kickstarter cards before you did. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. All right, DM Armada, I'm looking to switch it up, baby. Give me a call. Let's switch this thing up. I can bring over the zoo. May the zoo be with you too. It's all right.
Oh, I would pay for that. I would love to see you and DM Armada
we
on
got
a
along great
podcast
at Nationals.
You should see if they'll invite you. Now that you're a player, you should see if they'll invite you to their the Players podcast.
I could teach him something. I learned rules every week. That's all I'll tell you. I also make some up every week. It's complicated.
All right, this is derailed into something that it's not supposed to be anymore. Assad, last things that you want to say. You got 2 more minutes before this is an hour-long video. So last things for the 4 people who are still watching this late. What else would you like to say?
Support your LGSs, play the games, and just get in touch with the community. We want to see more people who really love the game talking to each other, right? So I think those are my big messages, right?
Yeah.
And
awesome.
back your Kickstarter. I'll add the 4th one for you, Assad.
Thank you.
And I will leave links to your Discord server.
I gotta carry everything.
I'll leave links to
I'm
your
way
Discord
too Canadian
server
for this, aren't I?
I'll leave links to your Discord server and the Kickstarter and some places that you can, even pick up Welcome to Jalara's second print, just if people want to hop into the game before this. There'll be lots of links in the comment section of the videos.
I think you should. Let me be very clear here. Like, I think it would be wise to pick up a couple boxes of J2 first, play it, enjoy it, and then when this set comes out, boom, you're ready.
Even the tabletop simulator mod is really well done. I mean, go watch the video of me playing and see if it looks like something. It's fun. It's a really good game.
It's a great game.
The movement system is unique.
Great game. People love it. It's polished. It's ready. You're not backing an unknown entity. You're backing you're backing something that you already know is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's pretty darn rare in today's Tendy grab universe.
Yeah. All right. That's it. That's all we got.
It was great.
Everyone, remember to be kind to the people around you. And Assad, thank you so much for being on the channel and for being here.
Thank you for having me.
George, I guess have a good day.
I love you, George.
I love you. You know, be kind to those around you. I carry everything.